So guys, if it wasn't a concussion, he wouldn't be in the concussion protocol. Pat looked like he was about to pass out, and I don't think it was because he was choked out. He got hit pretty damn hard. He definitely had a concussion. When he tried to get up and he was stumbling around like that, that's a concussion. I'm hearing this talk about he may have had a nerve in his neck that was stretched that may have done this to him. He may have had that also. I think what you're talking about is a stinger, but he definitely had a concussion. So what exactly is a concussion? Well, a concussion is a subset of traumatic brain injuries that occur when you have a force transmitted to the head, that energy that's then transferred to the brain, and you have an acute transient impairment of neurologic function. Okay, what does that look like? Well, 70% of people who have a concussion have a headache. They may have photophobia, which is sensitivity to light. They may have a sensitivity to sound. They can be disoriented. They may have nausea and vomiting. These are all things that happen when you have a traumatic brain injury. So concussions account for anywhere from 5 to 9% of sports-related injuries. Traumatic brain injuries are the #1 cause of sports-related deaths. So how do concussions happen? It's a direct hit to the head, to the neck, or any part of the body where you're going to transmit that force to the head. You may or may not have a loss of consciousness with a concussion. You don't have to pass out to have a concussion. But to be honest, Pat looked like he was about to pass out, and I don't think it was because he was choked out. He got hit pretty damn hard. So if you look at that hit, he gets hit, that's one impact. Then his head hits the ground, that's another impact. His brain might have bounced around in his cranium, that could be a third impact. So he had a pretty damn big hit, and that's why he got up and he was really woozy. If you've had a prior concussion, your risk of getting a concussion is 2 to 8 times higher.
Is it even higher than that if he's playing 7 days later? Is it higher than 8 times, or is it 2 to 8 times? Like, what's the extended period of time?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because he had that shit knocked out of him, and then he's playing a week later.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get the shit knocked out of him again.
Well, I mean, that's why they keep you out, because they don't want a second hit, because you get a hit again, it's going to be even worse. Matter of fact, if you guys saw, Brett Favre wrote something warning young players to be really careful about this kind of stuff, because he took a lot of hits, and he's now thinking that later in life, maybe I shouldn't have taken as many hits. I'd pay attention to that guy. So the NFL has a 5-step process for a person who's had a concussion, and this is what has to happen for the person to return to play. It's gradual recovery to full clearance to get back to sports. This is mandated by the NFL's Head, Neck, and Spine Committee. So, what are they? #1 is rest and recovery. So a player is prescribed rest until the signs, symptoms, his neurologic examination, his cognition and balance all return back to baseline. #2, light aerobic exercise. So under the supervision of the team's medical personnel, the patient begins cardiovascular training or cardiovascular exercises. They may also have some strength training and some balance drills. So #3 is continued aerobic exercise and introduction of strength training. So under supervision again, you'll ramp up the cardiovascular and you'll start some sports-specific strength training. #4, football-specific activities. Running, throwing, catching, passing. Passing and throwing the same thing. Throwing, catching, running, and other position-specific activities. #5, full football activity / clearance. So if the team physician is ready to clear that player, they have to be examined by an independent neurological consultant. When they're cleared by that person, then they can return to full play. So guys, if it wasn't a concussion, he wouldn't be in the concussion protocol.